Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing pretty well. You woke me up in the middle of the night
Yeah, yeah,
like you normally do.
I sure do. Well, I like
I'm
to.
trying to get some sleep, but I guess not because it's a snow day tomorrow, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of snow here. Does anybody else have any snow in their city? It's crazy here, in the
Yeah.
Chicagoland area. Just I think we're gonna get a foot tomorrow.
They say a foot of snow, but who knows? But anyway, I don't have to wake up too early, so
Yeah. Let
I'm
us
not too
know.
upset.
By the way, we're gonna be ghetto and do a mic check. Give us a yes in the chat if you can hear us. If you can hear us loud and clear, give us a yes and we'll look for some yeses. Hey Max Jerome, how you doing, buddy? I see you in here and I see Scorpy is already talking about the Whoopi Goldberg thing, the topic for tonight. Let us know. Okay, I see a lot of yeses. Okay, who are some of the names? I see Walter Suggs and Ladrina and Tiffany and Trey Nine and Carmelita, Greer James and Tori. First of all, I want to ask, what the hell are y'all doing up this late?
Well, we
That's
don't know what time it is there, but
only
if
weirdos would
they,
be up this late. Only weirdos.
well, then that was you because you woke me up. I
I
was
know we're
asleep.
all weirdos. We're all a pack of very strange black people. That's all right though. That's okay. Yeah. So okay. So I want to ask you guys, Tina and Duran and Golden and Jones. I want to ask you a yes or no question again. How many of you caught up with what was going on with Whoopi Goldberg? Give me a yes or no if you saw what happened with Whoopi and The View, and we're not gonna say we cannot say the J word if we
We
talk.
can't say the J word.
No, we can't. It's like that song. We don't talk about Bruno. No, no, no.
Wow. Okay, so we can't say the
We
J
can't.
word.
No, because if you say anything that they don't
Even you,
sanction,
you shook, boys. Are you
they will.
shook?
You know what? I don't want to get Nick Cannon.
We are. Well, I mean, how can you get Nick Cannon?
Well, they can't fire me because they never hired me in the first place. That's why I never
Yeah.
wanted the damn job.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? One thing what just occurred to me is that can you say, dare I say, LGBT?
You can't talk about the
The
J people,
LGBT.
and you can't talk about the alphabet people.
Oh, the alphabet. Oh my God. Okay, so the
Now you can
alphabet
call
people.
black people the N word all day.
But you can't. But you
That's
know,
allowed. In fact, that's encouraged. There's a financial reward for for using the N word as many times as possible. Just ask the rappers; they get paid big money calling us the N word.
well, you know what? I will say one thing. I think the J people are way more forgiving than the alphabet people.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I know a lot of black celebrities that said some stuff about the alphabet people that they shouldn't have said. They never came back on screen.
That's so true. Well, the J. If you read the book like An Empire of Their Own, which is all about how Hollywood was built.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood is heavily run by the J people and the alphabet people. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a blend. It's
They
yeah.
mm,
So it's
mm.
kind of like if you're in one of those two groups, you win. That's why Lee Daniels does so well in Hollywood. The reason Lee Daniels does so well and can put, shitty TV shows on and not be questioned is because he's both. He's an alphabet guy, and also he his boyfriend is a J
Oh,
person. And
I
yeah,
didn't
like
understand where you were going
let me
because
well, let me tell you how backward. Let me tell you how backward some of these Negroes are. He literally said something like, he said, "My kids never read Roots, but they read Anne Frank twice."
so he knows those J's got a lot of power and he knows what to say to make sure that he can get a little bit of it.
Well, you know what? I don't even knock it.
It's a survival mechanism,
Right,
boys.
I don't knock it because that's what I mean. That's what power looks like. You build something to protect your own. Because if you read that book, The An Empire of Our Own, which I have all the students in the Black Business School, I tell them to read it. That's on our suggested reading list.
Mm-hmm.
They explain exactly how they built Hollywood brick by brick, and now to this day, they have extensive control of banks, um, movie studios, mass media. It's a plan. It's about strategy, right? So black people could have that same type of power. We just got to change our culture. So yeah, they were strategic. They said we want to control media so that we can punish anybody who says anything about us that we don't want them to say.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the alphabets and the J's, I'm shook now. Just ooh,
I know the
the
J people.
alphabet and the J's, they're kind of one and the same too. Because a lot of the J's are part of that alphabet group
Yeah, yeah,
in
it's a
that
blend.
particular facility, that particular area. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you ever want to pay attention, I that's why, for example, a lot of your even a lot of your allegedly apparently male highly masculine black men in Hollywood are they're sleeping with dudes because because that type of debauchery, like if Bill Cosby was an alphabet dude, they wouldn't be doing that documentary on Cosby right now.
Oh.
That because think about it, you really gonna tell me that there ain't nobody in Alphabetville who's ever done who's been accused of the things that Cosby was accused of. You ain't never molested no kids. You ain't never, done some stuff that wouldn't necessarily be fit for TV. Come on now. But yet
Mhm.
we gotta talk. We must talk about Bill Cosby. We got to. We get. And then what they do is they go hire because black people have no power. They'll go hire black people to do their dirty work because we are in the unfortunate position of feeling like we want money, we need money, but we don't know how to get the power to actually obtain money without having to sell our soul in the process. And then you get Nick Cannon if you get out of line. That's a verb.
Yeah,
That's a verb now, by the way.
it is. He's become a verb, Nick Cannon, and yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
why? I mean, and think about what's really. Tell me, y'all, if y'all know, have y'all noticed that? Okay, so Whoopi got. In case you don't know what happened, Whoopi Goldberg made some remarks about the Holocaust that were debatable, right? She said that it had nothing to do with race. She
Hmm.
said that there was white folks doing things to white folks, and that's a clearly debatable point because the Nazis, they kind of did see the Jewish community as a separate race, right? But I think what Whoopi was saying was like in America though you got white people and black people, and so from her perspective, she's like, no, that was white folks. Those are the things white people do to white people. And so basically, apparently they got really offended by what she said.
Wait, what was offensive about that?
Um,
I'm trying
that
to really get it.
that basically she said something they disagreed with, and that's pretty much what it is because they have power, and their reaction to almost anything is, if you don't speak our talking points, then we will punish your black ass because you have no power.
Yeah, but I'm still trying to find out how that was offensive. I mean, they were.
It
I mean,
doesn't.
it was white people against white people.
Right. It doesn't have to be. Anything that's like anti-Israel, like if you say something like I think Mark Lamar Hill, he got Nick Cannon.
Oh,
Um yeah, because he said he spoke in favor of the Palestinians. I don't know if you know, like in Israel, they're just doing terrible things to the Palestinian people.
yes, they are.
Yeah, and Mark mentioned something about it, and yeah, they went to Nick Cannon him.
Yeah, and who's the other senator? It was a senator out of Georgia. You interviewed her, and I got to meet her. I was like
Oh,
so
Cynthia
excited. Yeah,
McKinney.
Cynthia McKinney was another one that got Nick
Shout out to
Cannon.
Cynthia
Yeah.
McKinney. Yeah, she ain't scared. She's not scared of the J stuff. And
Hmm.
that's the thing, right? It's like, um, it is what it is, but it's kind of interesting because you can just sort of see that hand of power all throughout America. Like I don't know if everybody knows this, but we all know, for example, there's never been a black woman on the Supreme Court. That's been made into a big deal lately because Joe Biden said he was going to put a black woman on the court, which I'm not going to disagree with that. Barack Obama, by the way, actually promised Dorothy Height that he was going to do it. He told her that was one of her dying wishes. She said, "Can you put a black woman on the Supreme Court?" He said, "I will," and he never did. He put Elena Kagan on the Supreme Court. Elena Kagan is Jewish, and
Hmm.
and so a lot of people don't know this, but um, basically, I think something like I want to say a quarter of all the Supreme Court justices have actually been from the Jewish community.
Well, that makes sense because there are a lot of lawyers in that community,
Yeah, but we have a
and they're
lot.
very
Well,
powerful
I
too.
mean, but there's a lot of
Hmm.
black lawyers too.
Oh, for
Who
sure.
are powerful,
Oh
who
my
are
goodness,
talented, who are
yes.
smart. Teaching at top universities. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
so I don't think it's a lack of supply of educated black people. I think it's just a power thing, right?
Hmm.
And so ultimately, I think that's what Whoopi got hit by. So what did you think about what they did to Whoopi when they suspend? Did you expect them to suspend her from the View?
Yeah, I'm real surprised. That was a really heavy blow for that little bit of a comment that you just mentioned. Yeah, that was a pretty. They came down her hard. They made an example out of her.
Well, you know what really surprised me?
Yeah.
I thought Whoopi was Jewish.
I thought she was Jewish too. I mean, that last name, well, you look at her, you're like, maybe she was married into, was she married to anybody? I don't know how she
I
got
think
that
she.
last
I
name.
thought did she marry Ted Danson? Remember
No, she did not marry Ted Danson.
she was dating him for a
They had
while.
a little bit of something going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't end well. And he made a very derogatory remark about her, by the way, which
Yeah, I do
which
remember
we
that.
really should have Nick Cannon Ted Danson for what he said about her.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
We didn't do that. What's
well,
going on with that?
well, well. When you when you have an employee culture, you don't actually own anything. So when you don't own anything, you don't have any power.
Oh,
So
well,
black people are typically employees for white people, and that's really like I think for Black History Month, that's probably something we got to really talk about. Like okay,
it's the first day of Black History Month, and there we go. We got to learn our place.
well, you had the Whoopi Goldberg gets Nick Cannon
Okay.
on the View, where they send them back to some, I guess, them some imaginary re-education camp where you can learn the appropriate propaganda necessary to keep your job. And then also you had the whole Bill Cosby documentary come out, where they went and they hired a bunch of black people and they said we have to talk about Bill Cosby. We must talk about Bill Cosby. I don't understand. Have you ever done a documentary called "We Must Talk About Reparations"? Or I mean, we must talk about Bill Clinton.
This is the
Because he,
cleverness I love about you boys.
yeah,
I saw your video. You showed me your video earlier today, and I was like super impressed with you. I admire you.
oh, thank you. Well,
Yeah.
I interviewed Immortal Technique today, one of my favorite rappers.
I understand. Yes.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
great dude. Smart guy. Smart black man.
Yeah. I have to check that out later.
You should. You should. But
Hmm.
anyway, okay, so yeah, so I found it, I mean, it's really fascinating how during Black History Month, so many like so many signs of white supremacy have popped up everywhere. Like, I mean, if the Jewish community ever wanted to just act extra white,
Hmm.
this is exact this they just did it. Like doing this really shows that there's a difference. Like you might think that, oh well we were persecuted for our race just like black people. You ain't like black people because you
Oh
publicly bitch slap
goodness.
black people when they don't speak your talking points. Like God forbid a black person with a good job says something like Israel needs to change its policy toward the Palestinians.
They do.
Right, they do.
They do.
Everybody knows it's terrible.
Hmm.
Let me tell you.
Now, I don't, see, now I got a story.
Oh, go ahead, tell me
Okay,
the story.
I was okay when I was learning to be a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was really interesting. I was interning at this agency that had a lot of Eastern Europeans and had a lot of Hispanics and blacks and stuff.
Okay.
So I really became really good friends with a Palestinian lady
Oh,
and
that's cool.
loved her. Loved her. She trained me. She was part of my early training, and it is really amazing how much they hate the Jays.
Oh,
And
really?
I said, how could you hate someone you don't know? And she said, you just don't understand. You don't understand how I was raised and the things that were instilled in me and some of the things that they've done. And she went through this whole thing. I mean, she was articulate and I was just amazed at how much she hates. She said, I hate them. That's
Mm,
what she said to me. And I said, how could she's a social worker? I said, you're a social worker. You're a beautiful lady. How could you have all that hate in you? Yeah, I just could not even imagine until she really explained it to me very well. And she said it was just something she grew up with, and it was instilled. She made it clear that it wasn't Jewish Jays. She made it clear it wasn't Jays here in America. It was just back at her home country.
mm. Well, you know
She just.
what's
Mhm.
interesting is here's something that happened to me in 2006 that really hit me to the game of how deep the propaganda runs.
Mm.
And they're really, I give a huge amount of credit to their community for the way they've acquired so much power that's far greater than their proportion of the population. Um, when I was in Germany in 2006, I spent a 6 week stint with the Center for European Economic Research in Mannheim, Germany. Did I ever tell you about that trip?
A little bit, yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
do
so I
remember.
was in Germany for 6 weeks. So let me tell you what happened. So every day I'm watching CNN, right? And every day they're talking about this war where two Israeli soldiers got killed by Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
And they spent the whole summer bombing the Palestinians, like killing. They killed hundreds of people
Yeah.
as a punishment for them killing two Israeli soldiers, and I mean, I'm talking about they were blowing up like daycares, children's
Yeah.
hospitals. I mean, they were doing some pretty atrocious shit. And their whole argument was, it's your fault because you shouldn't have killed our soldiers. You shouldn't, your soldiers are hiding in the population, so we're just gonna kill everybody, and it's your fault, right?
Mm.
So I remember watching this war and seeing this war every day. It was the talk of every single day. It was on what CNN, Al Jazeera, all that, right? They were all talking about it every day. I came back to the United States, right?
Uh-huh.
And I had, I'm watching CNN in the U.S. and I'm talking to my friends like, how about that war? Isn't that war crazy?
We don't know nothing about it. What you
They
talking about?
None of my American friends had no idea that there was even a war in the first place, that it had ever
Yeah.
even taken place. And that's when I became very much aware of how the propaganda works and how differently news is reported around the world. Like
Wow.
one time they showed a bunch of covers of Time magazine, and like every single cover for a bunch of major countries around the world had something like Vladimir Putin on the cover. It was like
Mm-hmm.
something very serious. And then the US cover was like Kim Kardashian. Or it was something stupid like that. I don't know if it was Time magazine or People or what, but it was like something like that where it's like Americans are stupid. We're just gonna feed
Mm-hmm.
them a bunch of bullshit, and I'll tell you another story, but after you respond to that.
No, I think yeah, I don't think and we're guilty of this. We don't pay attention to what's happening in world news at all. We don't pay attention. It's all we can
Mm-mm,
do to keep up
we
what's
don't.
going on here.
That's so true.
And people from other countries, by the way, they do pay attention to our news.
Yeah, they do.
I
They
mean,
do.
we're kind of like the shiny new thing, hot thing going on because we're
Well,
just this new exciting country,
well, Americans are
so to speak.
we're a little bit ignorant and aloof though, because like I go to London and
They do pay attention
well,
to
when I
us.
go to London, I feel really bad because the black people in London pay very close attention to what we do and they support us a lot. We don't have a damn clue what's happening in
We
London.
have no clue.
We don't, and I think
No.
that's kind of embarrassing.
Well, on the surface, when I go to London, it just doesn't feel like the same type of racism that you feel here. So
Mm,
even like, okay, so this happened. This happened to me. So back when Quincy, my little 18-year-old, back when he was a little baby, he was like maybe one. I actually flew to London, just me and him. Flew to
mm,
London. We're meeting his dad there. And so I flew by myself. And when I was here in America, I noticed that people did not treat me well at all because I'm struggling with this baby. And I'm
mm,
trying to like check the bags in. Can you imagine? A
mm.
1 year old, he was barely walking. I'm trying to check the bags. I'm trying to get into the airport. It was just like totally exhausting.
That sounds
And like
terrible.
no one cared. Everyone's just like, here's this black lady and her son. you know,
Like, you shut that
it was
baby up.
crazy. It was just really something. But I noticed instantly when I got to London how many people came to and helped me. How many people came up to me and helped me? Do you need help with this? I was like, well, yes, I do. Like just instantly, like that type of racism I didn't find. But it was like I felt the hatred and contempt in the United States. It was,
Really?
and I
Wow.
never would have noticed it if it hadn't happened within a span of of a day.
Damn.
Just in a
Wow.
day, it was stark difference. I mean, white men in suits were coming up to me, helping me. I dropped something. They came up, stopped their conversation, picked it up, and then handed it to me. Never would that have happened in Chicago here.
Well, I can see that. I remember feeling the same way when I came back from China. I remember kind of being depressed and I didn't know why. And
Mm-hmm.
I realized it was because, I had not, like going to China where I was treated well, like
Uh,
really highlighted me to the fact that I gotten used to being treated badly in the United States. Like in China, even though they thought black skin was kind of weird, like they'd never seen a black person, they
you're a
would they
novelty.
yeah, they would run up and they want to take selfies with you and shit. It was kind of strange. And but the good thing though was like because I was a professor, I got so much respect. And also as an American, our per capita income is 4 times higher than China. So I was like the rich dude. So I was balling.
They loved you there. God, that is really so. That's how I felt in Guyana.
Yeah.
When I was an educator and
Mm,
teaching, courses in Guyana, it's just like if you're an educator at the university, you're kind of like
yeah.
seen with a lot of respect. Plus, it was just
Mm,
all black people.
yeah.
Like I had all black colleagues, and for some reason, we're all attached at the hip because there's something universal about Black people all over, even in, I think
Mm,
Guyana would be considered the Caribbean. It's a part of the Caribbean country. But I just remember like being in the Caribbean for that amount of time. It was just a sense of comfortableness and familiarity that starkly I was met with total opposite when I came back. like
mm.
like the people that I worked with here, I was not getting that warm and fuzzy feeling that I got when I was in Guyana. And it was strike yet another striking experience from one semester to the next. It was like day and night.
Yeah, very eager students in Guyana. They're very hardworking. I love Guyana.
No, not only the students, but just the faculty, the staff, the administration. It was just total difference.
We supposed to be
Hmm.
talking about Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, but we're talking about Whoopi Goldberg, but we're talking about race. We're talking about race. We're talking about how we've been treated. We're talking about where you fit in and where you don't fit in. Do we fit into Hollywood? Should we create our own Hollywood? I mean, it all kind of relates.
Well, we're supposed to create our own Hollywood. That's what the Jewish
Yeah.
community did. They created their own industry. So, by the way, everybody, you listen to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia. And Alicia's website, Alicia is a couples counselor. Her website is coachingwithdralicia.com. You can follow her at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Also, if you want to become a patron and support the growth of the YouTube channels, feel free to subscribe to intelligentblackpeople.com. We give you lots of free stuff in exchange for your support. So feel free to take a look at that. All right, so let's get back on this Whoopi thing, right? So Whoopi gets Nick Cannon by the View because
Mhm.
she said something that was disrespectful to the Jewish community. You pointed out something that was really or what they claimed is disrespectful. I think that's debatable, right? But you pointed out something that I thought was really
Oh,
interesting.
what did I say?
You were talking about the apologies and how Nick and Whoopi's apologies were very similar to each other. And I'm gonna try to see if I can pull them up on the screen so we can kind of compare the two. And it's kind of like a like kiss the ring, like a power play. Like, if you don't get in line, let me see. Here we go. So here's Whoopi's. Is this Whoopi's apology? I think this is my deepest and most sincere apologies to my Jewish sisters and brothers for the hurtful and divisive words that came out of my mouth. Oh, that's this is Nick
This
Cannon's
Nick
apology.
Cannon's one. Okay.
Right, right, right. And then Whoopi's. Let me see. On today's show, I said the Holocaust is not about race, but about man's humanity. I should have said it. I should have said it is about both. As Jonathan Greenblatt from the Anti Defamation League shared, the Holocaust is about the Nazi systematic annihilation of the Jewish people, who they deemed to be of an inferior race. The Jewish people around the world have always had my support, and that will never waver. So I don't know if the apologies sound exactly identical, but they do kind
it,
of come
it
off
it was the same format. It was like, I'm deeply sorry. I've now been educated. I now am set straight. Thank you
right.
very much for setting me straight.
Well, yeah,
That's what that
well, that's
was.
certainly true. I mean, if you think about it, you compare it to say, when
Hmm.
Kevin Hart got pushed by the alphabet people, that's all, LGBT. He kind of pushed back a little bit, and he was like, "I already apologized once. I'm not doing it again."
Mm.
And I think they kind of punished him for that a little bit, or
Yeah.
tried to.
What occurred to me was that if you insult the alphabet people, you don't get back on screen. Like, remember that guy from? I mean, let's talk about with that guy from. There was a black guy. He was a great actor back in the day. He was on, I want to say, Grey's Anatomy. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah.
Where is he? We have never seen
What's the
him.
brother's name again? The actor, Isaiah something.
We don't even know his name. We have
Yeah.
no idea. He was a great
Damn.
actor. We haven't seen him. He
Yeah.
said one little thing
Mm.
on the set of the show, and that was it for
Isaiah
him.
Washington.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Isaiah
Jennifer Parker.
Washington.
Yeah.
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 Where is he now?
They have a picture of him working at Home Depot.
Yeah. So and then Kevin Hart, I think he lost his
The
ability to
Oscars
host
of
the
the
Oscars.
yeah.
They didn't even have a host that year.
They didn't.
No, I don't
Oh.
think they had a host that year. They just brought in some people
Hey,
to
who would
to
have
say
host the
something.
Oscars? God, that's gotta be
That's a
horrible.
comedian's dream. and that was
It
taken
is
from
that
him.
would never be my dream.
Well, you're not a
That is such a
comedian.
stupid job. The only reason hosting the Oscars is a big deal is because white people pay you lots of money to do it.
Well, I said, well, I said Oprah, but Whoopi Goldberg hosted the Oscars.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, more than once, I think.
Yeah, I think we put white people on a pedestal though. I think we try too hard to want to be a part of what they got going on. And
Hmm.
we think somehow, look at me, I'm successful now. Well, you were successful before white people decided to put you on TV. Like I just think that that's kind of we have a lot of people that will define themselves as successful solely and completely because of what? Because
Accepted.
white people put them on TV. White people accepted me, so now
Hmm.
I'm successful. Like
Hmm.
that right there is white supremacy. We make them the standard.
Yeah, and I think it becomes so internalized that we'll even change our last name to Goldberg.
Oh, that's true. We read up on that on where her last name came from. I thought it was because maybe she
I thought it
converted.
was a legitimate last name. It's not.
Yeah, yeah. She just straight up decided to call herself Goldberg because she wanted to fit into Hollywood. Crazy, right?
It's an
Interesting.
illusion. It's an illusion of inclusion.
Yeah. In fact, Henry Louis
Hmm.
Gates did a DNA analysis of Whoopi and found that she's like 92% sub-Saharan African. So I need to ask Whoopi this question. If you are 92% sub-Saharan African, why in the hell you run around calling yourself a Goldberg?
She should change her last name.
She really needs to stop
What's
that.
the sub? What part of Africa was she from? They were able to tell her. She
Um,
should pick a name from that region.
Guinea something. Guinea,
The Guineas.
but it was Guinea. It was like Guinea hyphen something.
That's an honorable. That's
Yeah,
an honorable bloodline.
it is.
If I were advising Whoopi Goldberg, I would tell her to just go and find a last name from her home tribe. You can discover it now, and just
Mm.
take that on since she's into changing her last name.
Well, I got a name when I went to Ghana.
Yeah, what's your name in Ghana?
Kabu Kubi Okanti. So
Kansi.
Whoopi could be an Okanti. She could be Whoopi Okanti.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
Kansi.
I have a family. Yeah, I mean I'm part of the Okanti tribe. Mike Roberts, the billionaire, he's the head of our tribe. He's the Nene.
He's the Nene. Wow.
Yep, yep. The pastor Jamal Bryant.
Jamal
He's in
Bryant, what is he?
he's
He's
in our
part.
tribe. Yeah, he's
He's in
part of the
the
tribe.
tribe.
Yeah, they all
Wow.
call me Kabu when they
Kabu.
talk to me. Yeah,
Kabu.
yeah.
Okay, Kabu. I gotta remember that.
I was very proud. It was a very deep ceremony. It was very pretty cool.
It'd be nice if she probably should do that.
She needs to get something because I mean I think this whole like trying to be white thing obviously it's not working out for her because they remembered that she was black the other day, didn't they?
Well, not only that, but you remind people who you are every time just showing up. Like, look at
Mm.
her.
What would
There's nothing about her that's Goldberg.
what would Paul Mooney say about this? You got your wake up call.
Is that what he would say?
Yeah, well he called it the N word wake up call.
Ah, oh, he was one of the good ones. Paul
Yeah,
Mooney.
because if she was really a Goldberg, they wouldn't have done that to her.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Um, I think every time I see something like this happen, like when I see what happened to her and Nick Cannon and all that, it just reminds me of the importance of. I think Black History Month is a time to reflect on not just Black history, but just how do we make Black history? How do we create independent Black power so that we're not bowing down and constantly having to kiss the pinky ring of people who have zero respect for us, just to get basic validation, right? So I see these people and I see what they're going through, and I say, I don't want to be no part of that. There ain't nothing you hold on, man. Ain't no carrot you can put in my face that's gonna make me want to give up my dignity to be a part of none of that.
I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we got to be proud. Like they're not begging us for nothing. We don't need to beg them. You know. So
Well, in some point, but they do have all the power. I mean, you want to be on. She wants to be on television. She likes her show, The View. That's. I mean, she's the head of that table. I mean, it's understood. She's the head of that table,
not for
and they
long.
put her there. You
Not for
know.
long.
Hmm.
They gonna replace her with Octavia Spencer.
Or Viola Davis.
Viola. Yeah, they gonna find somebody
Yeah,
else.
they'll find another one.
Somebody who knows how to play the game.
Yeah, they playing the game though. They doing it. It's
I
true.
think about Octavia Spencer because she did the help.
I've never seen a movie with her in it.
I can't watch her
I've
movies.
never seen it. I mean, I know she's probably really good, But I've never seen a movie with her in it. I just haven't had a chance to take a look at it.
Well, she rarely, she was in Hidden Figures, and
I've
I
never
enjoyed
seen
that.
that movie.
Hidden Figures is a good show, a good movie.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
maybe I'll see it,
she
but
did good in that with Janelle
mm,
Monáe and all that. I mean, I'm a math guy, and these were mathematical women who helped Manasseh, and I think I give respect to that.
okay.
Yeah, but anyway, okay, guys. So we just wanted to pop in and have a conversation about it. There's going to be more to talk about because remember, for Black History Month, I'm still really kind of curious about why they chose Black History Month to release the Bill Cosby documentary. And in fact, actually, I want to ask you about this. I'd like to get your analysis because my wife is an expert on the subconscious mind, and you've mentioned when we're just kind of having our regular pillow talks, babe, about how
Hmm.
like when they take down like the biggest slave on the plantation, when
Hmm.
they take down Bill Cosby, it's like they're taking down all black people on a
Hmm.
subconscious level. Like because there were so many people that admired him, looked up to him as America's dad. And I did a poll on my Twitter and I said, how do you feel about the documentary? The overwhelming majority of the black people who responded said they don't like the documentary. But yet there are these black people that were hired by a white owned network, Showtime, to do a documentary called We Need to Talk About Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Like they don't need to talk about all the other things that matter to black people, but they have to talk about Cosby. What is your thought on this in terms of like maybe the subconscious programming occurring when you go out of your way to make sure you take down a Bill Cosby all the way completely, all the way down?
Yeah, I think this is probably like a counter answer to him coming out, because I think when he came out of jail, I don't think people expected that. So it was almost like a little victory for him. And as soon as he came out, they were like, "Okay, we're gonna do a documentary on you, and we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna release that thing the first week of Black History Month." And you know what's interesting? Like when I think about Whoopi Goldberg, I think about The Color Purple. And that movie, The Color
Mm,
Purple, there was not a good black man in that entire movie.
sure
Every
wasn't.
black man in that movie was terrible,
Oh Lord,
evil,
yeah,
rapist, molesters. Think
so
about, what was that? Danny Glover. Danny
mm-hmm.
Glover was a molester, right?
Yes, he was.
Child molester. So like, and actually Danny Glover, ooh, he's an interesting character.
Yeah.
But it was just, that's my association with Whoopi, is the fact that she was part of this movie that was really, I mean, it was a great movie in and of itself. Who was the author of The Color Purple? What was her name?
It was a black feminist. I
Somebody
do
would
know
tell
that. Who
us.
wrote The Color Purple?
I
But
want to
it
say,
was it was a feminist. It was a feminist.
cannot remember her name
I
right
know she was a
now.
feminist. I think she was a feminist and a lesbian.
Yeah, yeah. So there
Yeah,
we go. And so
right.
it was a lot of
So there's a competition with the man kind of thing that kind of
well,
pops up.
it was just black women being abused by men.
Alice Walker.
Alice Walker, I knew it started with A. Yeah, so Alice Walker's film, yeah, so that's really what that film was about.
Mm.
Don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Mister and the abuse, and then
Oh yeah. You can't.
his father was terrible,
Yeah,
and
you can't watch The Color Purple and walk away with a positive view of a black man. And what's interesting is,
yeah,
Whoopi Goldberg is the star, and Steven Spielberg
Steven
it was the
Spielberg.
director, right? So these Bergs. So pay
Yeah.
attention now. This is what's fascinating.
Hmm.
There are lots of black stories that get written by Jewish writers. Now, I need to ask y'all this question: how many Jewish stories are written by black writers? Can you name one single film ever made about Jewish history or Jewish culture where a big percentage of the writing cast was black? And do you believe that the Jewish community would allow you, your black ass, to write their story?
And write the story in a way where the Jewish men look like
And write it in a
trash.
way where where you're disrespectful to their culture. See, y'all
Trash.
got to understand
And
that.
I know
Wow,
Alice Walker wrote the film, but I mean
the
wrote the
story.
book, but there's a ton
Mm,
of books to do a
right,
movie on. Why
right,
that book?
right. And the script. Remember, and also writing the script is different from writing the
Right in the
book.
book.
And
Hmm.
directing the movie is another segment of. So how it all sort of comes together on screen You
Mhm.
know, that is the director's vision, the screenwriter's vision, right? And
Mhm.
it's interesting to me how often you see it. Like, I bet you if I look at the writing room of Blackish, I bet you I'm gonna see a lot of people in there who are not black.
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to understand this. Why do we think that that's okay? And pay attention now. They'll do that. They think it's okay to do that to you, but they would never let you do that to them.
Mhm.
That's because you are inferior. You are oppressed. They do not see you as their equal. So that supports Whoopi's point to a point where it's like she's saying, look, y'all still white folks. You know,
Mhm.
like you think you're one of us. You think, oh, we're all in this together. No, we ain't all in this together because you're oppressing us too.
Yeah, and I mean, The Color Purple wasn't just a movie, it was a blockbuster. That movie was seen by everybody. It won an Academy
Hmm.
Award, I'm almost certain. I don't
Yeah,
even know. I don't
I'm
even need
sure
to
it
look.
did.
I'm sure it's won maybe a dozen Academy Awards that year.
Absolutely.
It swept. It was just best actor, best
Mm.
actress. That movie was a hit.
Damn, that's real.
Was a hit.
That's heavy. I think that's a great note for us to finish the conversation on. So, by the way, Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia is where my wife and I literally lay against our pillows and have scholarly conversations about interesting issues that happen in the world, but fun too. We have fun
Mhm.
too. We're a little bit ghetto. I hope you can forgive us for that. And anyway, Alicia's website, she sees couples, and she's a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. Her website is coachingwithdralicia.com. You can go check her out and also follow her on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Me, I am a PhD in finance. That is my field. If you want to support the platform or subscribe to our League of Intelligent Black People, feel free to go to intelligentblackpeople.com, and it will support the channel. And also, what I'll do is use my financial superpower to every week pick out some stocks that I'm buying for my family that you may want to buy for yours. So that'll be the trade off. You support the platform, I'll give you some financial information. So, all right, guys. So we're gonna head on out and go to sleep like normal people.
Like normal people in the snowstorm.
Yes, in the snowstorm. And tomorrow, me and Tater are gonna go sledding. I can't wait. I'm trying to talk her into going sledding. Tell her she needs to come with us.
I
You need
don't
to
know
come
if
with
I'll
us.
come with. I'll make some hot chocolate.
Yeah, so me and Tay Tay are that's Tay Tay in the middle. We're gonna go sledding tomorrow, and I'll probably pop some sled pictures up on Instagram because we always have fun. There's always like at least one crash and some a screaming, crying little girl or something at the end. But it's always fun though. We have a great time. So and by the way, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, as you know, it's Black History Month, so we're reading Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It's totally free. You can go to boycewatkins.com and sign up for free and join us. I think it's important that we become our own public school system. We teach ourselves critical race theory. Black History Month is the time for us to really, really take over everything. We need to take over the education. We need to take over the economics. We need to take over the culture. We need to take over our families. We need to do all the things that our ancestors are begging us to do. So our little contribution is on Wednesday nights at 8:30. We're analyzing this book. We're almost done with it, and we've done about 30 lectures on this book so far. And we're going to keep going till we get through every single book written by Dr. Claude Anderson. It's something we're doing for the community because Black people are too beautiful to be ignorant. So everybody have a good night. God bless you. And
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
all right, hit the thumbs up button on your way out if you could. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon. Love you. Talk to you later. Peace.